Good afternoon and welcome back to Plain Speak, where we spend 30 minutes and delve into the nexus of technology and customer support. Today, I'm super excited to have Sophie Conti with us. Sophie created CS Lab, where she's pioneering the future of customer support for growth stage companies. So unlike maybe the traditional trajectory towards customer experience, Sophie embarked on her journey from the high-end fashion world of Paris to cutting-edge CS tech support in Silicon Valley. Today, she applies her vast expertise to help burgeoning companies either craft their customer service teams from the ground up or go and redesign and re-envision their support structures when they're at a place where they need to scale rapidly to meet consumer demands. So for any of you tuning in for the first time, I'm your host, Liz Tai, CEO and founder of High Operator. Our company creates scalable customer support solutions that dynamically adapt to a company's changing needs. Our tools include Highlight, High Auto, QA Scout, and SMS Bot, which together harness, natural language processing, workflow automation, and generative AI to manage complex customer requests and help you manage your internal customer support team. If you have any questions, feel free to engage with us through LinkedIn comments. We'll try and address them during the talk. There's a lot of good stuff in here today, though, so if we don't get to it, we will follow up on LinkedIn post-session. Super excited to dive in. Sophie, welcome again, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So to start us off, Sophie, your journey from the French luxury fashion world to spearheading customer service in the tech world with the e-commerce landscape is both unique and really fascinating. Can you share a little bit about how those early experiences in luxury goods shaped your approach to customer experience in the tech sector and how your roles in e-commerce companies after your time with luxury brands like Hermes influenced your customer service philosophy?
Yep. Thank you again for having me, Liz. So as you mentioned, I started my CX career at Hermes of Paris, and where obviously I was deeply immersed in the world of high-end fashion, and where you learn very quickly that every customer interaction is about crafting a unique experience. As exquisite as the products that we sell. And it really gave me a profound appreciation for meticulous attention to detail and personalized service, which, I carried over to the tech sector. So, when the e-commerce bubble started, I actually, so it's where, my luxury background merged with the tech industry. And I worked for an e-commerce company where we were selling a luxury product for the first time ever, and we got acquired by LVMH. And again, it was being at the confluence of luxury service standards and brand new standards from e-commerce, from the tech industry, and we had no idea what the standards were actually. So we were really pioneering, a brand new type of experience for these customers. It was challenging and very exhilarating at the same time. And, we were like trying new things like, hey, let's implement chat in luxury. So, which was like really brand new and lots of skepticisms actually about it, where people were, well, is it going to work to actually sell luxury online and not in person? And can we even do chat? And obviously, we all know the answer now, but it worked very well. So drawing on my luxury background and, through all my various jobs after running CX teams, I've always focused on training my team, not only just about the product and the technology, but also, again, on understanding the essence of a high quality service, which, again, I learned in luxury was about and is about anticipating needs, personalizing interaction, and creating this unique and memorable experiences if you can. So my approach has always trying to seek this balance between the technology and the human touch. And it's a philosophy that I've carried, into my current work with Customer Service Lab. helping company navigating the complexity of building customer service team, but also adapting even more so these days their customer service team, especially to AI. Yep.
I love that, because I think what I'm hearing is, you started sort of with the North Star, right? The North Star is the experience, the quality, the human connection. And then when you take and translate that into the tech space, you're keeping that as the North Star. And really what you're working with companies to do is, how do we use all these really cool, exciting tools? At the time it was live chat, now it's all these different AI tools that are available. How do you use that to almost preserve and augment, right, that humanity and connection? Interesting, but also challenging, right? Because in your consultancy work today, you often interact with growth stage companies, which means there's scale, there's friction, there's pressure and demands on scaling that, sense of connection. What themes do you see they reach out about? What are the main challenges, and how do you start to guide them towards addressing these? Right, you have to do sort of the impossible in some ways.
Yeah. And especially these days, it's a very, very special moment. And I think that just looking at the big picture, we're really in a transformative era for customer experience. And the way I see it, there's really two main factors driving this transformation. So the first one is obviously generative AI. So if you think about it, Gen AI has been, it's really impacting the CX world. And it's just been like over a year since OpenAI released ChatGPT, for the world to use, just over a year. And, really the promise of Gen AI is a huge boost of productivity, especially for CX. So according to McKinsey and BCG, and sorry, I'm quoting that, but because they are important quotes, they predict that it's going to boost productivity in CX by 30 to 50%. It's huge. And it's not only a promise, actually. We're already seeing like some of this gain already materializing. I'm sure that, lots of people here on LinkedIn read the post from Klarna about their productivity gains, after they implemented their AI assistant. So it's becoming increasingly clear that integrating Gen AI into your CX processes is actually essential. It's not, are we going to do it? It's like, when are we going to do it and how? So with that in mind, CX leaders are really facing pressure to implement AI and to figure out their AI strategy and how it fits into the rest of their tech stack. And also, very importantly, how it's going to impact their human teams. So second factor for this, a transformative era is the post-pandemic economic realities. So we're still navigating the aftermath of the pandemic, and which includes like budget restraints, layoff, workforce reductions, and CX teams are really caught in between budget cuts and the pressure to do more with less. Everyone I talk to, all our clients are saying that, and facing new workforce realities. So for these two factors, so there's two current challenges that are emerging and that we hear directly from our clients, and we work on with them. So first challenge is really, again, thinking about the economic, reality right now, is maintaining a team cohesion and alignment with your brand values and customer expectations. So if you think about it, the teams, really CX teams really went through like multiple restructurings, high turnovers, layoff, budget cuts, and it's really hard to maintain seniority. And really hard to keep your tribal knowledge. So it's really a concern, especially you have a really junior team. And the way we tackle this is by basically training and doing and focusing a foundational training implementing it or re-implementing it, customizing it specifically on soft skills, so that everyone on the team is on the same page about the core values of the company, how to talk to your customers, how do we do that, and reinforcing the company culture. So it's a, kind of an easy way to do it, but very powerful way to do it.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, exactly. So, but it really pushes the teams to, again, think about, hey, we have core values. What do they mean? Or if they don't mean anything, then it's pushing you to rethink them. But it's really also encouraging, this cohesion of the team, and for the team to be together and really talk about, how do we do this? What type of scenarios? And, exchanging and brainstorming. So the second big challenge that we're seeing is obviously developing and integrating an AI strategy. And for this particular challenge, so I really encourage first to companies to think about, what are you trying to do with AI, instead of just saying yes to the pressure that your CEO is putting on you to just implement AI for the sake of AI.
Yep.
First, if you do that, it's not going to work. So you need to think about, what am I trying to achieve here? Are you trying to achieve agent productivity increases? Are you trying to increase your deflection rate? Are you trying to automate more responses so that you don't have repeat inquiries? So being very clear about what your goal is.
Yeah.
And so that once you're clear with your goal, then the ROI and how to measure your ROI is going to be evident and super clear. So this is why it's important to do that. And especially with AI, where you have a whole aspect on the agent side, and you have a whole type of functionalities on the customer side. So being very clear on what you're going to be measuring for your ROI. And of course, aligning with stakeholders, and identifying also potential roadblocks. That could be actually your data readiness, super important, as you know, Liz, for system integrations. And once you have all these kind of points already tackled, then you can start evaluating AI solutions and choosing the one that is going to be the best fit for you. And one thing that I would look at is the AI solution going to help you integrating? Are they going to support you through the process? I think is very important. So once you start the implementation, the first thing that I would encourage to do, and I'm thinking more about a chatbot type of solution. I'm not talking about agent-facing solution, but just for the sake of it, really thinking about, again, what am I trying to do? So, for example, thinking, what are the best scenarios, and maybe the top 3 or 4 scenarios, type of inquiries I can start implementing, and I know are going to be successfully handled by a bot because they're easy.
Yep.
And what do I keep for the agent? So being clear with that and asking your AI solution to help you with that. Second, and I see a lot of being a second thought, actually, is really focusing on a seamless handoff between your AI solution, so your chatbot, and your human agent. I cannot stress that enough, because again, it's ensuring that you have a seamless transition between the AI and the agent, and that the agent is going to receive all the information they need to handle seamlessly, the customer inquiry. And again, it's a critical piece and step for ensuring a personalized service.
Yeah.
We all have this experience where we have to repeat ourselves 2 times or 3 times, when we are handed over to an agent. So it's completely possible to do it. So design it and make sure that it's flawless, which is my recommendation. Because again, at the end of the day, your human agent is really what's going to be your competitive weapon. And during a handoff, it's super important that it's well done. And then another super important thing, and we've been kind of alluding to it, is preparing your team.
Yes.
So preparing your human team, for the integration and the implementation of your AI solution. So not only just familiarizing them with as a tool, but really changing their mindset, or just guiding them into getting to a mindset of using the AI as a tool and as a partner, as an assistant that's going to help them solve something and help them serve the customers, and leave them handling with all the emotional stuff, but really changing the mindset to, I'm using AI as an assistant. And for all of us who are using AI on a regular basis, it's so easy. We all have this mindset. Once you start using it, it's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So we work closely with teams to help them do that in terms of preparing the teams. And again, it means putting the focus on soft skills. So, which is interesting. It's not only just the technology, but it's the soft skills like empathy, creativity, problem solving, and personal engagement in customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
Sophie, I really appreciate the way you framed that, right? You really started with the team, right? You have, in a lot of ways, customer experience teams are being asked to do the impossible. They're saying, do more, do better with less money,
with
right?
less money, yeah.
And so I love that you started with, you have to start by shoring up the team, making sure you've captured all the tribal knowledge, right? That's your foundation. That is the heart and soul. And then you really said, okay, well then, the metric for success is not how much AI we're using or whether we're using AI. The metric for success is really what's the impact we're trying to make, right? Start there. Is it retention? Is it more immediate replies? What is that? And then design your program.
Yeah.
Right. Now that, I think when we talk a lot about that internally, a lot of times that does involve AI. Sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay. Right?
And that's okay. Exactly. You don't have to implement AI just for the sake of it.
Exactly. There's no, hey, we're using 50% AI. That's never the goal. It really is start the team, design that program, right? That's going to drive success for your customers, your team, your business stakeholders. And then I really appreciated how you then wrap back around to the human agent and the team, right? Because you said you had to prepare your team for the shift. You don't just design this platform and say, we've got automation. You really have to sort of wrap it back around and say, how do we align it so everyone's working hand in hand? We sometimes like to say that the hard part isn't automating things. You can always send another automated reply.
Exactly.
The hard part is really knowing when to automate and when not to automate. And when you've hit the limits of automation, you need to recognize that point, design that into your platform, and hand that over to the agent and do everything you can to prepare the team to say, okay, how do we now bring this interaction back around and create a really seamless experience for the customer? I really appreciate you painting that picture, because at the end of the day, the only reason we do any of this, right, the only reason we have CRMs or automation or chatbots or self-service is to produce a better customer experience.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's really the end goal.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think some of what we've talked a little bit about, Sophie, is also, when you really wrap that customer experience around, support stops being just support, right? Are you seeing more integration between support and then maybe product or different parts of the organization that this is able to drive a little bit more of today?
So I see, thank you for pointing that out. So what I see in some companies, and because of the integration of AI, actually, and the implementation of AI, is the boundary between support, success, and sales is actually started to, becoming blurred. Which if you think about it, makes sense, because, and it's more like for SaaS companies and e-commerce, but it makes completely sense because so you implement AI, the AI is going to obviously handle like the easiest contacts, the easiest inquiries. So suddenly, not so suddenly, but the agents, the human agents, are really left with more, either complex or more emotional contacts. But at the end of the day, for some companies, there's a need for for the agents to do more than just support. So doing more than just answering, or solving an easy issue for a customer, but it's going to be more proactive. So doing more sales, doing more success, presenting like other type of products. And for that, again, it all goes back to training. So you need to train and get your team ready for that, because not everyone is going to be okay with that, actually, if you don't train them. So it's new skills. So it's not just soft skills, even if like it's a big part of it, but I would definitely train anyway on soft skills. But it's also upskillings and learning new skills. So success and sales, and sometimes, suddenly switching to another type of channel, to a live channel that before you didn't have to use because you were not doing sales. So, there's a lot. It's not as simple as it looks. So I feel that, and I think that it's very important to support the team by providing a thorough training and help them adapt to that.
Absolutely. I mean, just a new skill set, right? I mean,
completely.
There's some people that say AI might take over the world. I see it slightly differently. I see it as a tool, right? Where back in the day, you had typists, and they had to learn how to type, and learning how to type is a big deal, right? Now we assume people know how to type. We've moved on to training for other things, where it's soft skills. And I'm kind of excited to see where that leads customer support, where if we take, interacting with automation and agent assist and chatbots as a given, what's that next interesting rung of skills, right, to upskill and train and really focus on? Because from one level, this integration makes a lot of sense. The customer doesn't think about, am I speaking to support or sales or marketing? The customer is just building a relationship with the brand. And so I'm excited to see what happens behind the scenes. But we're getting a little bit off track here. So we talked about these two main fronts, right? Both maintaining team cohesion and then developing and integrating an AI strategy. When companies reach out to you about these two fronts, but on an operations level, when we zoom in, how has the incorporation of AI and customer support reshaped the landscape for CS teams, especially when it comes to team training and adaptation?
So so we talked about that. So it's really, again, for me, and I'm just going to repeating it because I see it super often these days. Clients are reaching out for this, for like, can you come and help for training, because it's all about soft skills and helping agents and teams to, again, review their soft skills, or acquiring some of their soft skills, like, again, problem solving, empathy, critical thinking. I mean, all that is actually soft skills, because they have to deal with more complex and more nuanced issues than just like a very simple support question. And so not only it's helping them reviewing all that or getting more comfortable with this type of skills, But again, like we just said, it's also helping them maybe to acquire new skills because it's needed for, it's becoming, there's new tasks.
Yeah.
And this is why I always look at it at a task level instead of like, AI is going to replace like the whole job. It's going to replace the whole agent's role.
Yeah.
No, it's already replacing some tasks, but not at all the tasks. But what are they? And so if in some companies agents need to acquire new tasks, new skills for new tasks, then you do it through training. So I think that it's kind of the answer to a lot of things, to not only to really train your people and give them like new skills, but also to get them ready for new tools and new type of experience and new type of interactions they're going to have with customers.
It's exciting, right? It's a shift away.
It's super exciting. And it's what we've been looking for so long in CX.
Yeah, I feel like it's a dream, right? How do you shift your human resources away from the prevention of value destruction, the prevention of churn, really towards the creation of value in the form of relationships or better experiences? I'm excited to see it.
Yep, me too.
So then maybe very tactically, Sophie, with all these rapid advancements in technology, possibly more than what should be maybe implemented every day, where do you see the future of customer support headed, especially in the context of companies that are maybe at the forefront of personal technology and consumption, where their consumers expect maybe more out of them in terms of adoption?
Yeah. So for me, first of all, I completely agree with you. It's super exciting because we've been waiting for a seamless automation for a long time. And in CX, there's so many low-hanging fruits type of tasks that it's a no-brainer to use it, to handle them. So for me, the future of CX is really like a seamless, anticipatory experience. So the whole point of support, it's because so far we were not able to provide actually a completely seamless experience, and especially, online. So I really feel that AI is going to help with that and allow, service to really provide, again, a seamless experience to customers throughout their journeys. And for me, the promise of AI is actually going through, how do we realize that? It's by getting insights. And for me, it's where Gen AI, and I'm not the only one, is really super exciting right now, because we could get like some really good and real-time insights about the customer experience throughout their journey. And if I'm sure like not too soon, very soon, sorry, I'm getting excited here.
It's here today.
Like very soon, we'll be able to know real time and, hey, this customer is having issue right now with that, doesn't know where to go and what to do. We'll be able to help them, and even maybe, behind the scene, without even creating a contact or anything, or guide them towards, a solution for what they're working for. What they're looking for. So for me, it's really, super exciting. It's getting this new type of insights about the customer experience, and then knowing where to actually use the human touch, so that we reserve the human touch for relationship, for creating this actually unique experience or memorable experience that's going to really tie the customers to your brand, and to you, and creating loyalty and all that. So for me, it's the key. And actually,
Yes.
Talking about insights, I wanted to also give you a shout out for QA Scout, because I think that it's exactly what I'm talking about. It's getting this insight about qualitative experience of the customer, and from the agent as well. This is what I'm talking about, is CX leaders having like all these insights, like without too much effort, and being able to actually right away improve customers' experience.
I appreciate the shout out, because I think it's so interesting, right? Because as you upskill these humans and these experts, right, and you have automation woven into the interaction, you almost need sort of a AI for AI, right? To optimize where to put the experts, but also to have visibility into all of that. And I appreciate that you brought up QA Scout, because part of that came out from our internal question, which is, when you have a traditional team structure, if you're a CX leader, shift leads, agents, there's this reporting structure. They all report back. As the CX leader, you can see what's happening, right?
Yeah.
But what in a world where 50% of your contacts are automated, right? How are you getting visibility into what your automation is doing?
Yep.
Monitor that in real time and manage that. And so I think one big thing that we're keeping in mind is, as you have automation speed up, how do you build the same suite of monitoring tools and infrastructure, right, to QA your AI, so to speak? But I'm super excited about that. But again, I appreciate you bring it back to, when generative AI is commoditized and it's everywhere, right? That's a new normal. It still comes back to the people, right?
Exactly. Even more so. And there's actually more and more articles these days about, again, tying up everything to soft skill. So Gen AI is going to be everywhere. Everyone's going to use it. So what's going to set you apart from your competition is your people, and how they perform and how their soft skills are. It's going to become like very critical. So I encourage everyone to really think about soft skills in a world of technical, and this whole, it's not just about technical skills, but it's technical skills. The technology is a tool. It's how we use it as human and how we apply it.
100%. When everyone has AI, what's the differentiator?
Yep.
I love that takeaway message, Sophie. Thank you for helping us bring that point home here today. To wrap us up, because I know we're going a little bit over, every week we ask a rolling question from our previous guest. So your question is coming to you from CX expert Tanner Nelson. And so Sophie, imagine yourself in the future at 76 years old. What advice do you think you would give to yourself today?
So, I can't really predict what's going to happen in 30 years or so. But if I had to give my younger self a good advice, I would say try to make decisions that, in 10, 20, or 30 years, you're not going to regret. So it's how I roll. And, I keep reminding myself that, and actually my kids now. Yep. No regrets.
Yeah, always forward and make the decisions that you believe in and what your values care about. Great viewpoint in life and in the world of customer support. And then to close us out here, Sophie, what question would you like to ask our guest next week?
Yeah, so very simple, but it's a question that I'm asking myself almost every day these days. How do you envision a CX leader role just in 10 years?
This was not a hard question 10 years ago, but it is very hard now. Sophie, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Plain Speak today. Your insights into blending the world of luxury service and tech support to enhance customer experiences with humanity at the core is so unique, and I really appreciate that. Any company, any CX leaders listening here who are looking to supercharge their CX strategy and department, especially around the humanity and training component, reach out to Sophie and CS Lab. You'll see them down here on our screen. And please do stay tuned and join us for our next episode of Plain Speak on March 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern, where we will be hosting Mark McCretcher, a veteran CX leader whose innovative work spans some of the most prestigious tech companies, including Google, PayPal, and Amazon, and it was most recently the global head of customer care, payments, and commerce at Roku. Together, we'll be discussing the golden rule in CX for a blueprint for service excellence. Sophie, thank you again. Everyone else, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to continuing the conversation about revolutionizing customer experience with a little bit of technology and AI and a whole lot of human insight. Thank you
Thank
all
you,
so
Liz,
much.
for having me.